Hello there. Timestamp in the description. Customize your viewing experience. So you, me, and iPhone SE, let's go. Say hello to the iPhone SE, an evolutionary leap for the one-handed iPhone vision of the great Steve Jobs. Let's kick this thing off with a hardware tour of the device. On the front of the device, you're going to find yourself a 4-inch Retina display at 326 pixels per inch. Going off to the top of the device, you're going to find yourself an ambient light sensor, a 1.2 megapixel front-facing camera, and an earpiece for hearing callers on the other end. Going on the bottom, you're going to find yourself a first generation Touch ID fingerprint scanner, which is a little bit slower than the one on the 6S. Going down to the bottom, you're going to find yourself a 3.5mm headset jack, a mic port, Torx screws, lightning port, and a speaker grill off to the right of the bottom of the device. Going off to the left hand side of the iPhone SE, you're going to find yourself a mute switch as well as volume rockers and an antenna line. But there's also those antenna lines on the bottom of this device as well, which was famous from the iPhone 4 antenna gate, but that is no longer an issue anymore. Going off to your right side of the device, you're going to find yourself that little port where you can get your Nano SIM card out. But actually, when I went and opened up the box of the iPhone, as you're going to see right here, let's open it up real quick and you're going to see that we can go through everything inside of the box, and I just don't see that, SIM card tool to open it up. Come on, Apple! And so what we did was we took a pin, a little pin, or, a paper clip, and you could try to stick that in there to get out your Nano SIM. So we pop that in, you can see the iPhone SE does take, that one didn't work, so we'll try the other pin. The iPhone SE does take a Nano SIM, so that's cool there. At the top of the device, you're going to find yourself a power button, as well as on the back of the device, you're going to find yourself a 12 megapixel iSight camera with a dual tone LED flash. Down towards the middle of the back of the device, you're going to find yourself the Apple logo, which is now polished, but we will talk about that later on in this review. At the bottom of the device, you're going to find yourself the iPhone SE branding, which looks quite clean. Now let's get into the display. The display of the iPhone SE is very similar to the one on the 5S, if not the exact same as the 5S, but this is not a problem because it is very sharp and has a very high contrast ratio. As you can see right here, the display just looks decent, and there is no problems doing things such as seeing this outdoors, although it can be a little bit worse than AMOLED. It's not bad and does have a high range of brightness, as you can see right here throughout this example. Also, if you cannot see that well, like me, as you can see with my glasses, they do have you covered here with auto brightness so it doesn't hurt your eyes even more, as well as modes like night shift, and you can change the text size easily like this. So the iPhone, even at this small size, can be read pretty well in my personal experience and opinion. You may differ, but overall up close, text looks pretty sharp. And to give you just a more of an example of that, check out this right here. This is really up close, and you can still see there is quite a bit of legible text, so that's no problem. But what about scrolling and going on web browsers? You can see right here on a 4-inch screen, it is a little bit small compared to your phablet Android devices or bigger 6 Pluses of the world. You can see that it is a little bit small, but we got to remember, guys, that we used to browse the web on things like the iPhone 4 and 4S, these old school 3.5-inch displays. But you know what? Just navigating the general UI proved to be no issue in terms of the display legibility, as well as checking out a photo, super sharp and clear, and no problems on the eyes even at the small size screen. But going into web browsing, you will notice that if you do encounter some smaller text, you will have to zoom a little bit more to see that on the iPhone SE as compared to a larger device. But you know what, there's no problem there. And I enjoyed everything from reading books on Kindle or iBooks, as well as just scrolling through notifications and checking those. It wasn't no problem even on this smaller screen size, and it was a really sharp experience checking email as well. And even though it's a small screen, I can also easily enjoy some YouTube content on this device on the go. Maybe not for long hours, but definitely suffice enough for my needs. In terms of the build quality, as you would imagine, Apple's had 3 generations to refine this. It is a very durable device, and the screen is also quite durable as well. No problems there, and it feels very solid in the hand. I think a little bit more solid than even the 5S. It's slightly, ever so slightly heavier, although the design is exactly the same as that 5S, but overall it fits nice in the hand. Now about the key specifications of the device. It has a 4-inch Retina display, an A9 chip, dual core at 1.84 GHz, 12 megapixel camera from the 6S, shoots in 4K video, 240 frames per second slow-mo, 2 gigabytes of RAM, 1634 milliamp battery, which is improved from the 5S at 1560, Retina flash on the front-facing camera, iOS 9.3.1, which is the latest, an NFC chip only for Apple Pay, rose gold color option, price range $399 for the 16 gig, and 64 gig $499, and that is the best iPhone price we've ever had for the type of specifications that you are getting. So those are the specifications that I think are the key ones that you need to know about. Hopping right into iOS 9.3.1 on the iPhone SE, we are going to go into general about and confirm that this is the latest version that we are running, which brings new features such as the night shift mode, which protects the melatonin levels in your brain so you can sleep at night. We also have iCloud syncing and iBooks, as well as some activity tracking enhancements for eye health. Also, we have the news app, which gives us some nice clean updates for favoriting, liking, and sharing, and all kinds of other features within that app. Alright, this next section, guys, is going to be about little nuggets you may have missed. Well, you may have missed that Apple logo is now polished on the back of the iPhone SE, and to demonstrate this just a little bit more, check it out within the light. You can see there is now more of a polish, and let's wipe it off, and let's see. Ooh, that is clean. So now let's see it right next to an older iPhone 5S to further prove this point. So what I'm going to do is grab the iPhone 5S and show you that this Apple logo is painted on. As you can see, it's got more of a, matte finish, kind of, cheap looking. This is now polished, which is a nice added touch. Also, you might have noticed that there is no more FCC branding at the bottom of the iPhone SE, as you can see right there on the iPhone 5S, and no branding here on the SE, which makes for a cleaner look in my opinion. Also, there is no more polished chamfered edges. They are now a matte finish, which is more clean as well in my opinion. If you look here on the iPhone 5S, it is polished, and hopefully this protects the SE from things like this, such as all this chipping that used to happen on our older devices. Also, you may have not noticed, but the iPhone SE also uses the same glass technology as the 5S, not the 2.5D glass, which is on the 6S and 6 and 6 Plus and 6S Plus. Also, if we hop into the SE, you're going to notice that there is 4 new included wallpapers within this device. So if you can see, we're going to go in and show you in the stills. These 4 wallpapers right here are included on the SE, and you won't find these on any other Apple device, which is nice. Alright guys, so let's get into the performance ADD test, and I call it this because I used to have ADT as a child. As you can see, powering on the fingerprint scanner, no problem. Once again, fingerprint scanner, it's not slower guys, no problem, and one more time, no problem. And let's just do a little, slide test right here. Check the camera as well. As you can see, the iPhone SE is very nice and slick and smooth. So let's just check the general UI, how it performs, going through the notification bar, scrolling that up and down. and maybe just going left and right and seeing how that works out. Going up and down from the notification tray. We also can check all these toggles, no problem there. Swiping through is no issue. Very, very quick right here, almost ridiculously too fast. It's a little screamer of a device. So let's go into a few apps here, make sure everything is closed up. Let's hop into Kindle, let's come back out. Let's hop into Twitter, let's come back out. Let's hop into Instagram, let's come back out. Let's hop into YouTube, let's come back out in a second here. And let's go into Google Plus, let's come back out. Let's go into Amazon, let's come back out. Let's go into eBay, let's come back out. Let's go into Autodesk Pixel, let's come back out. Let's go into Google Maps, let's come back out. Let's go into PyGeek, let's come back out real quick. Calculator, come back out. Let's go into settings, let's come back out. Let's go into Groupon, let's come back out. Let's go into Safari, let's do a little web search here. Hit go to apple.com, no problems. Let's come back out. Let's go into phone, let's come back out. Let's go into camera, let's come back out. Let's go into mail and come back out. Let's check the multitasking speed. This is so quick, it's insane. This is why you may want to pick this device. Look at the multitasking speed, look at how we go through these apps. Probably one of the fastest phones on the market. Our Geekbench scores showed in another video that I did earlier in the week that this is one of the fastest phones on the market. The one versus the iPhone 5s, you could check that in the card up above, description down below. But you can see everything just flies. The only thing you might see that hiccups is me making a mistake. So let's talk a little bit more about that 12 megapixel iSight camera on the back of this device. Firing this device open, you're going to find that this is one of the fastest experiences from just firing open from the lock screen and taking a picture. We also have square mode, panoramic, and your typical iPhone stuff. Also, a lot of video modes. I did a 4K video sample. Check that out in the card up above. Also, slow-mo improvements as well as time lapse on this device as well. Going over to the front of the device, hello there, how you guys doing? You can see that we do have plenty of modes on the front-facing 1.2 megapixel camera as well. But to use that retina flash, you actually have to tap this button and press on to use it. It's not auto by default, so you have to tap on for the retina flash. Also timer, and you know, the basic iPhone stuff. Going further into the settings of the iPhone, you're going to find yourself some new and improved and nice video features here if you're into video taking. You're going to find yourself recording video in slow-mo at 240 frames now, just like the 6 Plus and 6S. As well as recording video, you have 1080p at 60 FPS and 4K at 30 FPS. Going into the camera itself, you can see that we do have, you know, nice camera on both sides, and it does fire off shots really quickly here, and it's a very enjoyable camera. But if you want to see more about this iPhone camera, please go ahead and check out my most detailed camera review on the planet. So we couldn't do a review without talking about battery life, and battery life on the iPhone SE has been pretty impressive to say the least. You can see right here, I have been using it for over 3 hours and 1 hour is 40 minutes on screen time, and I have 82% left, so there is no problem with battery life on the SE, and it's a big improvement over the 5S. Getting into call quality, callers said I sounded fine on their end, and you know, that's all I need to hear from them. Going down to the bottom, you can see the speaker quality is also pretty good for, you know, business calls, taking a call on the road, and the speaker audio quality when listening to videos as well as any other media sounded great. So getting into my negative aspects, the first one is the 1.2 megapixel front-facing camera. It could have been a little bit higher and sharper like on the 6S. Also, my second negative aspect of this device is going to be that it has no 3D touch, which is the latest crop of technology from the Apple camps. And finally, the speaker on the bottom of the device could have been on the front, but Apple hasn't changed their design in forever, so I don't think that is going to change at all. So those are my negative aspects. Now let's get into my positive aspects of the phone, and the first one is going to be that 12 megapixel iSight camera. It is superb with that dual tone LED flash, and it's quite amazing. The second one is going to be the battery life, which is pretty impressive, and I was quite pleased with the battery life. It's similar to what you would have got on something like the iPhone 6 Plus, almost about the same actually. Performance is my last positive aspect. It is just a screamer, as we have seen throughout this video, and that is my third positive aspect about this device. An added positive benefit is the fact that you can just take cases off of your iPhone 5 or 5S and pop them right on to the iPhone SE, which is awesome. So getting into gaming, hopping into Dead Trigger, we're going to see that Dead Trigger performs just fine here on the iPhone SE as well as any other game that you throw at it. The iPhone SE says, come on, test me, I'm a beast. What do you got? Any graphical game you throw at it, it is just going to scream right back at you with great performance. So yeah, gaming's a beast. What about the iPhone SE? In conclusion, who is this for? Well, if you got small hands and you don't prefer those large iPhones and you were waiting for this, here it is. And yes, it is a recycled version, but I kind of like the smaller design because it's what Steve Jobs envisioned an iPhone to be, and I think it serves as a great communications tool rather than a media consumption device. That's why we have iPads and that's why we have laptops. But you know what? You may differ. And the market does say big screens are amazing, and which they are, but this iPhone is going to be a great entry point for people who don't want to spend top dollar for an iPhone. You get a 64 gig model for $499. In comparison, you get a 6S 64 gig for $749. So that is a huge savings. That's almost 2 Android budget phones savings. So this is quite a nice entry point. Also, if you just don't prefer big phones, this will be a great phone for you. Or if you just want screaming performance on a smaller device, this is going to be the phone for you. Also, anybody from the 5S who wants to upgrade and never wanted to get the newer 6S, this is your puppy. Anyway guys, if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead, hit that thumbs up down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and do me a favor and share this video with anybody you think could find it helpful. I'm grateful to have you guys around, appreciate your company, and I will catch you all in the next episode. Be well wherever you are, take care, and peace.
Yeah.